Hi friends, it's Rabbi Briskin with a thought for Shabbat. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Esau, the much maligned older twin brother of Jacob. Now some of his actions described in the Torah are indeed impetuous, emotional, and reckless. However, nowhere does the Torah text describe him as evil or idolatrous. Later texts, including Midrash and Talmud, do. And I believe that these texts have been unfair to him. Esau was born first, and from that very moment, Jacob was always conniving how to take what was due to Esau, the firstborn. He wanted rights and privilege, Jacob did, that didn't belong to him. Twice, Jacob schemed against Esau. First, he convinced Esau to trade his birthright for a bowl of soup after he returned from a hunt absolutely famished. Later, Jacob tricked his blind father, Isaac, into thinking he was Esau and convinced him to bestow the blessing of the firstborn upon him. And when Esau discovered this deception, he burst into, quote, a wild and bitter sobbing, the text describes. Esau begged his father to bless him too, but to no avail. Esau's reactions to these acts of deception are predictable, especially for someone who's seen as more emotional than calculated. He did make some bad decisions. Over time, however, Esau is described being much worse than he actually was. Midrash does this. Esau is described as being an idolater, a murderer, one who sleeps with betrothed women, and one who marries out of his clan, and more. Jacob, whose actions in the text are far worse, in my opinion at least, remains treated well by the text and tradition. Now, the purpose of Midrash is to help fill in the gaps revealed by the text, even when it seems to stray away from the text. In Esau's case, the Midrash turns a very human character, Esau, a son who dearly loved his father, Isaac, and at first did everything he could to please him, into an evil, adulterous man whose name becomes synonymous with enemies of Israel. The complaints against Esau are many and are ensconced in our tradition. It's an important tool to elevate Jacob while diminishing Esau. However, it isn't fair or justified. Jewish tradition has to elevate Jacob because the lineage of our people goes through him. By elevating Jacob, Midrash ends up denigrating Esau to the point of making him irredeemable. Have you ever been slandered? Have others painted an unfair picture of you? Character assassination is real. Once someone disseminates information about you, true or not, it's out there. And the damage can be long-lasting, and it isn't fair. It wasn't fair to Esau. It's not fair to us. And trying to restore one's reputation is an incredibly time-consuming and expensive endeavor. Midrash are ancient stories that help us fill the gaps. We must be careful of the stories we share, the midrashim that we create in our own day, that fill in the gaps of those we know. So friends, what do? We speak the truth. We don't exaggerate. We don't diminish. We don't gossip. We share multiple perspectives, and we don't reduce someone to a caricature. We find nuance. So friends, be aware, be attentive, and be fair. Above all, give the Esau's in our lives the benefit of the doubt. Shabbat Shalom.